Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormuck and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I've been playing around with all sorts of ideas running through from the last card I did. The last card I did, which people who are following me will know. If you're not, then please subscribe because it would be lovely to have you with me. We made these ones, which were absolutely lovely, really straightforward, clean and simple cards, but just look so beautiful for very generic for man or a woman or, you know, anybody in the family would work perfectly with these cards. So running through on that, I was looking at the little scrappy pieces that are left over, and I thought, I don't like throwing bits and pieces away, so what can I do with those? Now, there is a beautiful stamp set which coordinates with this paper. This paper is called Forever Greenery, and it has the most beautiful patterns. Let me just show you a few of them. I've cut some of them down into 6x6s. It comes 12x12, but you've got this one, double-sided as always, this beautiful one, double-sided. This, I absolutely love the ferns, so beautiful, again double-sided. And then we've got these lovely little florals, and we've got these ones as well, which sort of looks a little bit sort of bamboo-y, nice and pale. Beautiful patterns on the back. So the paper is just stunning. There's a stamp set that goes with it, and I have an amusing story to tell you on that one. I ordered what I thought was a stamp set, but I transposed two of the digits because they were very, very similar, and I ended up getting the beautiful paper and a totally different stamp set, so which wasn't one of my choices, but these things happen. It just shows double check everything, and I'm not somebody who double checks all the time. I do sometimes. It's the first time it's ever happened to me, and entirely my fault. So I am about to reorder the lovely stamp set that goes with these papers, and until that arrives, I thought, what can I do, because I really want to use some of these images and I don't want to throw these little scrappy pieces away. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm just cutting round very closely just a few of the, or this is the leaf or a leaf, so we can cut this one down. I'm cutting it right up tight. Doesn't matter if you're not absolutely perfectly exact, because it's a leaf, it's quite forgiving, and I can just turn round. And so if you can see on this one that I'm coming to now, I can, if I want to, just sort of take it round in sort of a thin leaf piece to match the other piece down on there. So I've just cut myself out just a little leaf from there, and we've got these lovely little sort of circular, I don't know quite what they are. They're sort of a leaf, but they're a bit sort of penny. Do you remember those? People in the UK will probably remember those penny plants that used to have, they were almost sort of silvery white, and they had little pieces like this that were literally just like little pennies, that sort of round shape. But you can see I have no idea what this one is called, but I'm on here, all I'm doing is just sort of circling it round. So on these edges that I've got flat edges and pieces that I've punched out of, I can still sort of go round and bring it out. And we've got another little one there. What else can I get out of this? As I say, you can make use. There's a lovely couple of leaves here. So I'm just going to take this singular leaf out. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with all of them, but I've got an idea for a card for this one, which I think will probably work quite nicely. Now this bit doesn't matter at the bottom because I'm going to poke that bit in. But you can see I'm not going to carry on doing it. I will cut out all these tiny little pieces and make them. I'm going to cut this little guy out actually because I might want a little piece of this fern. So taking that down at the bottom, I'm just going to take it up on there. So this little tiny little piece of fern, I might use that. So again with the fern, you can just sort of roughly wiggle it. If you're putting it onto white, it won't matter. Now, people who've got the stamp can just use the stamp and stamp round, but again, quite a few of my followers are fairly new at stamping and they don't have everything, and also a lot of us, particularly at these difficult times, don't have the budget to buy everything. So wasting little pieces like this is not a good idea. Now these ones, I can't, well, I've got one little leaf I can get out of there, but you end up wasting absolutely nothing. So I thought that we would try and sort of build up a card with this. And I've got one of the little pieces that I've already used, or I've already punched out, which is where these came from and the other cards. And it was just a piece that was left over. I've punched out another piece because I want it quite sturdy. And I'm going to put a bit of wet glue on this to start off with, and then we'll build it up from there. So a little bit of wet glue on here. And then we can put that in on the center, and that will just give it just a little bit of extra stability, because I'm going to put this up. And on this one I might, am I going to sponge around it or not? I might do. So what colors have we got in? Let me have a look on here. I think I'm going to do it with the green, which is sort of a, I think probably an old olive type, or maybe even pear pizzazz. They do have what's in it on the back, but because there's so many different greens, it's difficult to tell. But I think this pear pizzazz will work quite nicely. So let's just ink this up, and we're just going to go round. Oh yes, that's perfect. So I don't want it too dark. I just want it to just stand a little bit proud. So this one we're inking round. I really love this, what's it called? The rectangular postage stamp punch. I just love the shape of it. I love little rectangles. I love doing things with, you know, inchies and twinchies. So inchies are 1 inch by 1 inch. Twinchies are 2 inches by 2 inches. And this one is 1.5 by 2 and a bit. So it's, you know, it runs in. It's just a lovely shape. Okay, so I have got a piece of pear pizzazz as the base. I've put a few sort of bits up, but I don't know what I'm going to use. So I've cut a few other pieces out. And we are going to, I'm going to put that on there. So I'm going to have this slap bang in the centre. And I'm going to do that in some dimensionals. So let's put some dimensionals on the back of this one. I've still got some dimensionals out from earlier. So let's just pop these, whoops. Pop these on here. Now I need to be able to poke some things in, so I'm not putting a huge amount of dimensionals on here. I'm only going to put 3 down the center, because then that gives me room for popping things in and out, and they're not going to sort of stick up. So sometimes if you put your dimensionals right up against the side and you try and poke something in, you can't get it quite far enough. So got to have this facing upwards, so I'm just going to pop it slap bang in the center, or as near eyeballing as I can. Okay, now we can get these little pieces sort of going. So let's just take This is sort of a big, I just want to sort of have that maybe just poking up that way. I'm just going to start playing. So you can see all I've done is just cut little pieces out, and I'm gluing them down. And I'm going to tuck that one sort of right in. So there's a little bit of that piece just coming up, and then I can just smooth that down nicely. Then I can take one of these and we'll have that the other side. You can do a whole card just by using tiny weeny little scrappy pieces. So let's just tuck that one in like that. So we've got that coming up that way. Let's start working underneath as well. I've got this long one that I did. Let's take that one in first. I still want to keep this fairly clean and simple, so I'm not overly embellishing it, but we can have this one coming out in that direction, although that leaf's supposed to go upwards, isn't it? I don't think it'll matter. I don't think it'll matter. Well, it won't for me. It's going down in that direction. So we have it coming out at the bottom. Then I've got several of these ones. So what sort of size do I want? Do I want that sort of size just tucked in? Yeah, that looks quite good. So we can just tuck this one in just like that. So that just comes in. So you can see you've got, let me just glue this piece down. I forgot to do that, didn't I? I've still got this stamp and seal, but because I'm wanting to do it in reasonable time, I'm not doing a huge amount. So let's just try and get this leveled up. There we go. Okay, so I could put some others on there, but I think I'm just going to keep it as it is. Do I want to just put a little bit of greenery coming down on that direction? You see, this is where you start playing and you build up and you build up and you build up, and then you go, do I really want to? See, I could put that one in on there as well, couldn't I? No, that's going to get too busy. I think I'm going to keep it just as it is. I do quite like this little one. I could put that just coming out of the top there, couldn't I? Now that I've cut it out, let me have a look and see. Yeah, that sort of works, doesn't it? Although I do like having it as I've got the top and the bottom to just sort of come. I wonder if I can take it so that it's almost like the mirror image of there. Yeah, that works well. Okay, we're going to have this little one in on here. And you will find, depending where you've cut your paper, will depend what works well. So this is going to be just sort of coming. Take it out to about there. Is that about right? Or do I want it tucked in a bit more? Tucked in just a little bit more. And as I say, just play around with it. But if you glue them flat, you can see that it's worked beautifully on there. And I've got all of these other little pieces as well. So, you know, you can, if you wanted to, you could take it up and build it up a little bit more. Put one of these sorts of ones in. You know, you can have as much as you want or as little as you want. I think that that's perfect for me. I don't want too much. Okay, so all we need on this is to take a little, or to find a little sentiment. So I think, will just a note fit? I think it might. Let's have a little go with that, just so that it's a very beautifully clean and simple, lovely little card. So I'm just going to put this just a note on here. And have I got a little tiny scrap on here? That'll do. That'll do. So I can just take this and I'm going to do it with green ink. I'm going to do it with black ink. So let me just grab some black ink out of here. So get yourself good black ink, whatever is your preferred. And we're just going to put this in on here. Let's turn it up that way, so I'm going to have it at the top so that it's easier for me to take it out. And excuse my head if it's just come in. Just a note. That's perfect. So I just need to now just cut this down. I think that's probably about right. Will that go? Now I could just leave it like that, or I could have a little tiny black or green border. Now, have I got a tiny little bit of, that's a slightly darker green, isn't it? I don't know whether I've got any little tiny scraps of that green left. Let me have a little look. That's going to be too dark, isn't it? I don't want that one. So I just need, let me have a little look in my scrap bag and see if I've got, yes, I have got a little tiny piece of this green. So I keep all my scraps in just the ring binder sheets in a folder, well no, a box actually, just above me, so I can reach for scraps as I want it. Now if I put this in on here with just a tiny border, do I want it with the tiny border like that? Yes, it does need to just have a little tiny one, not a huge one. Now, the easiest way to do this that I find is to just glue your sentiment onto the scrap that you want. So you know that you've got two edges absolutely where you want it, like that. And then you can take your scissors and very carefully just cut through. If you struggle doing this, then just use your trimmer and just trim it up. But because it's only 1/8 of an inch, it's relatively easy to do. So we've just got a little one. It's probably not perfect, but then I don't mind too much if it's not perfect. And then we'll just have that in on there. I don't want to put that on with dimensionals. I'm just going to put that straight down with some glue. Just in on the center, and then we'll have that running across the center like that with the just a note. Put that on. And then you've got another really beautiful, clean and simple card. Now, if you wanted to, and I don't know whether I will, but I might. What have I got in on my little box of embellishments and things? I've still got some of these ones. There's some lovely Christmassy ones out now. That's quite a nice green. I could put that. That might work. That might work. I don't normally add too many embellishments and things on, but I think I need to try and take this out first so that I can see what I'm working with. Is that going to come out or not? They always seem to stick quite carefully, don't they, onto the bottom, so it's difficult to get the sheet out, but I want to try and probably find they're all come pinging off now. Just want to take this and see. Yes, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it because I think that that might just add just a little bit of something. So that on there like that. Yes, I quite like that because that's got the These are from the Noble Peacock rhinestones, but we do have lots of different coloured rhinestones, so I'm sure that you can find something that would work perfectly. And I'm just sort of tucking them in where those leaves are. Now, do I want to do a third one? You should really have odd numbers, shouldn't you? But that actually works quite nicely. Let's have a look and see. Can take another one. Yeah, just there I think will work. So just tucked in like that. Okay, so you've now got just a little bit out. Now, you know, you can put ribbons, you can put all sorts of other things on there as well, but I wanted it to be another clean and simple, using very, very few supplies. Literally, we've used a piece of, well, a scrap of paper and just cut out a few from there. So I haven't got the stamp set, but I think that that looks absolutely beautiful. I think it'll work perfectly. Let me just take a card base so you can see it on the base. I'm not going to put it on there now because I haven't worked out what I'm going to do with it, but beautifully clean, beautifully simple, and using hardly anything at all. So just goes to show, don't throw all your bits and pieces away. So thank you so much for watching me. Do look forward to seeing you again. As always, stay safe and stay well and be kind. Bye bye.